How's it going, everyone? Austin Honecker here. I just want to come on here for a while and give my review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dark from last night, which was June 21st, 2022. I gotta say, it was awesome from start to finish. For the matches, match 1, it was Max Caster versus Trevor Eon. That was a squash match, but the ending to it, Max Caster went over with the mic drop. Well, before the match, as Trevor Eon was already out in the ring, the Acclaimed, which are Max Caster and Anthony Bowens, came out, and Max Caster done a rap on Trevor Eon, and Anthony Bowens said his signature line, Universal Studios, the Acclaimed have arrived, and everything. That was cool. Match 2, it was Serpentico versus Vari Morales. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Serpentico went over with the neutralizer. That was match 2, by the way. Match 3, it was Chris Statlander versus Ava Everett. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Chris Statlander went over with the Michinoku driver. Match 4, it was the Dark Order, which are John Silver and Alex Reynolds, versus the Wingmen, which are Peter Avalon and Cesar Bononi. That was a great match, but the ending to it, the Dark Order went over cause Alex Reynolds pinned Peter Avalon with a roll-up. Now, after the match, Ryan Nemeth and J.D. Drake of the Wingmen came out, and Ryan Nemeth grabbed Alex Reynolds by his trunks and hair and threw him into the steel steps. And then Cesar Bononi threw John Silver in the ring, and the Wingmen, which are Peter Avalon, Cesar Bononi, Ryan Nemeth, and J.D. Drake, all ganged up on John Silver and were beating the shit out of him. And then the rest of the Dark Order, which are Evil Uno and 10, came out. And as Evil Uno and 10 came out for the save, the Wingmen, which are Peter Avalon, Cesar Bononi, Ryan Nemeth, and J.D. Drake, retreated. And so the Dark Order, which are Evil Uno, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, and 10, stood tall in the ring, while the Wingmen, which are Peter Avalon, Cesar Bononi, Ryan Nemeth, and J.D. Drake, were on stage looking on and everything. That was cool. And that was after the match, by the way. And that was match 4, by the way. Match 5, it was Brock Anderson and the Varsity Blondes, which are Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison, versus Teriyaki, Jay Lucas, and Larry Lazard. That was a squash match, but the ending to it, Brock Anderson and the Varsity Blondes went over cause Griff Garrison pinned Larry Lazard with the Pendulum Facebuster. That was match 5, by the way. Match 6, it was Diamante versus Devlin McCobb. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Diamante went over with a modified crossface. That was match 6, by the way. Match 7, it was Tony Nese versus JDX. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Tony Nese went over with a sit-out pile driver. Now, after the match, Tony Schiavone interviewed Tony Nese and Mark Sterling, and Tony Schiavone brought up Tony Nese winning his first ever Pure Rules match and everything, and then Tony Schiavone brought up to Mark Sterling about his neck healing and everything, his neck healing and everything, and Mark Sterling was talking about how his neck his neck has been healing, and was talking about how Tony Nese won his Pure Rules match and everything, and then Mark Sterling issued an open challenge to Wheeler Yuta on behalf of Tony Nese in a Pure Rules match for the Ring of Honor Pure World title and everything. That was cool. That was after the match, by the way. And that was match 7, by the way. Match 8, it was Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez versus Anna Diaz and Yadi. That was a squash match, but the ending to it, Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez went over because Mercedes Martinez made Anna Diaz tap out to the Brass City Sleeper. That was match 8, by the way. And match 9, which was the main event, it was Jay Lethal versus Blake Christian. That was a great match, but the ending to it, Jay Lethal went over with the diving elbow drop. Now, besides the matches, Anthony Bowens cut a promo talking about how he's gay and how he was afraid to get in professional wrestling because of his sexuality and everything, and then talked about how AEW has been accepting of his sexuality and everything, and talked about how professional wrestling is his passion and everything as well. That was cool. Lexi Nair interviewed Blake Christian, and Lexi Nair brought up that Blake Christian was on fire at the moment, and talked about how Blake Christian has a tough task against him against Jay Lethal and everything, and then Blake Christian was talking about how Jay Lethal was a tough opponent, was going to be a tough task, but he's all heart, and talked about how Sanjay Dutt mentored him at one point in time, and was talking about how he hopes Sanjay Dutt recognizes that and everything, and then Blake Christian was talking about how even though Jay Lethal will be a tough task, he's all heart, and he's going to continue to be all heart, and he's going to go out there and give it his best and beat Jay Lethal and everything. That was cool. Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh cut a promo, and Jay Lethal was talking about how the bullshit rumors, how the rumors of Blake Christian being all heart and, excuse me. Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Satnam Singh cut a promo. Well, Jay Lethal was talking about how his opponent, Blake Christian, was full of shit because the rumor of him being on fire was bullshit, and talked about how he was going to kick Blake Christian's ass and everything. And then Sanjay Dutt was talking about how he retired from professional wrestling 5 years ago, and now he was but now he's representing India in a different way now, and talked about how he brought in Satnam Singh, who's a fellow Indian, and is the future of professional wrestling and everything as well. That was cool. Lexi Nair interviewed Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez. Well, Lexi Nair brought up about Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez being on a roll as a tag team on AEW Dark Elevation lately and everything, and then Serena Deeb was talking about how she respected Mercedes Martinez and how she respected professional wrestling and how she respected the Ring of Honor women's title, and talked about how she was gonna want a shot at the Ring of Honor women's title sometime in the sometime, and then said to Mercedes Martinez that she could learn a thing or two from her and everything, and then Mercedes Martinez was saying learn a thing or two, and then Mercedes Martinez was talking about how she respects Serena Deeb and everything, and talked about how she'll tag with her and she'll have her back, and as long as Serena has her back, and as long as Serena Deeb has her back and everything. And then Mercedes Martinez was talking about how she'll team with her and have her back as long as she has hers, and to not get in her way and to not get in the way of the OG badass and everything. That was cool. And Tony Schiavone interviewed Wheeler Yuta. Well, Tony Schiavone brought up about interviewing Tony Nese and Mark Sterling earlier on AEW Dark, and talked about how Mark Sterling issued an open challenge to Wheeler Yuta for the Ring of Honor Pure World title on behalf of Tony Nese and everything. And then Wheeler Yuta was talking about how he heard the interview and how he's ready for blood and guts and everything. And then, but Wheeler Yuta was also talking about how he'll defend his Ring of Honor Pure World title and against Tony Nese and everything as well. That was cool. Yep, which that was cool. Now, besides all that, Taz and Excalibur done commentary throughout the whole show. They done awesome as usual. And the referees for the event were Mike Posey, Bryce Remsburg, Stephon Smith, and a black-haired woman. Don't know her name. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Mike Posey refereed the match between Max Caster versus Trevor Eon. The black-haired woman, whatever her name is, refereed the match between Serpentico versus Vari Morales. Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between Chris Statlander versus Ava Everett. Stephon Smith refereed the match between the Dark Order versus the Wingmen. Mike Posey refereed the match between Brock Anderson and the Varsity Blondes versus Larry Lazard, Teriyaki, and Jay Lucas. Bryce Remsburg refereed the match between Diamante versus Devlin McCobb. That was Bryce Remsburg, by the way. Mike Posey refereed the match between Tony Nese versus JDX. That was Mike Posey, by the way. The black-haired woman, whatever her name is, refereed the match between Serena Deeb and Mercedes Martinez versus Anna Diaz and Yeti. And Stephon Smith refereed the match between Jay Lethal versus Blake Christian. Mike Posey, Bryce Remsburg, and Stephon Smith done awesome as the referees as usual. And the black-haired woman, whatever her name is, she done awesome for her first time as a referee and everything. Now, the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite tonight that's been announced so far, it's going to be Chris Jericho and Lance Archer versus Jon Moxley and Hiroshi Tanahashi. Penta Oscuro versus Malachi Black in an AEW All-Atlantic title qualifying match. Orange Cassidy and Roppongi Vice, which are Trent Beretta and Rocky Romero, versus Will Ospreay and Aussie Open, which are Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher. And Tony Storm versus Marina Shafir. Those are the matches that have been announced. Now, besides the matches that have been announced, Christian Cage will be appearing live, and Bryan Danielson will be appearing live. So, the match card for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dynamite tonight looks like it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see it. I'm looking forward to it. But anyway, I just wanted to come on here for a while and give them a review for All Elite Wrestling's AEW Dark from last night, which was June 21st, 2022. Like I said, it was awesome from start to finish. And with that being said, my name is Austin Honecker, and I will catch your ass down the road. Peace out.